I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. And I sure do love my job. Yeah. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I'm born to preach the gospel. I sure do love my job. Yeah. Yes, I really love my job. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Oh, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Yes, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Get firmly rooted. So let's get firmly rooted. Let's get firmly rooted. So let's get firmly rooted. Oh, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Let's get firmly rooted. Firmly rooted. Let's get firmly rooted. Yeshua, 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 Yeshua. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. We're disciples that make disciples that make disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. Let's keep firmly rooted. Firmly rooted.
Hey, good morning, Firmly Rooted family. Pastor Tom, Firmly Rooted Ministries, Tuesday morning. And, well, I gave Pastor Grigsby a tough time about giving me the readings lately, some of the readings over the last couple of weeks. This one, this is it. This is it. This is home run reading. This is the gospel. Paul says, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ because it is the power of God unto salvation. This is it. This is the power. This is the dynamis. It's where the Greek word for power is dynamis. It's where we get the word dynamite. It's explosive. But before I get into it, I better say hi or I'm going to go. Pamela C., good morning. Vivian Davis, good morning. Pastor G., down at Firmly Rooted Greendale, good morning. My cousin Dave Donnelly, good morning. Brian Flaming, good morning. Saints, boom, mic drop. Diane Drew, good morning. Cindy Siebert, good morning. Alice, good morning. And many others are popping on as we're talking. Look, this is the death of Jesus, right? And this is the key. This is the key. He is not a victim. He's a victor. We can't look at the crucifixion as somehow he was caught up in something and got out of control, and all of a sudden, like in other people's lives, it was ended or they were killed. Jesus is in absolute control of this moment. He's allowing it to happen. It's fulfilling the will of the Father. Could he have come off that cross like everyone was screaming? Yes. Could he have zapped them all and just let them little burning charcoal marks on the ground? Yeah. From the 6th hour until the 9th hour, everyone, these 3 hours are the gospel. It is not the crown of thorns on his head. It is not the beating and the scourging. It is not the nails in his hands and feet. Listen, other people experience those same things in Rome or in the Roman world. They are not what saves us. So many sermons about what it meant to be crucified. And look at, he died a death that thousands of other people died. It's what happened in the darkness that we have to pay attention to. In the middle of the day, the sky turned like night, and you hear Jesus say, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And you begin to realize the second person of the Trinity is being separated from his Father. He doesn't even call him Father. He's bearing our sins and the separation from God that we deserve right in front of our eyes. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? The suffering is the eternal price, the eternal damnation, drinking the cup of God's wrath to its last drop so that we wouldn't have to. You hear me say this phrase all the time, and sometimes I think we miss the weight of it. He lived the life, Jesus did, that we could never live, and died a death that we don't have to. We deserve it, but we'll never have to die that death. Hence, when we die, like Lazarus, we end up in heaven. Someone heard him crying out, and they thought he was calling for Elijah. So immediately one of them ran and got a sponge, and he filled it with wine vinegar to put a stick and offered it to Jesus. And Jesus drank it. Remember, he didn't drink the stuff earlier, but now he's drinking. He's drinking. He wants to wet his whistle. He wants to wet his mouth. He wants to be heard. Now leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah comes to save him. It's not about saving Jesus. It's about Jesus saving us. It's about Jesus saving us. Why did he want to wet his whistle? Well, when Jesus cried out again in a loud voice, he gave up his spirit. Well, we know in another gospel exactly what he said. Tetelestai. It's finished. The debt's paid. A very rare use of the Greek, perfect passive tense. When Jesus says the debt's finished, the price is paid, he goes all the way back to Adam and Eve and their sin, and he goes all the way back to the day in which he's going to return, and he bears all humanity's sins, past, present, and future, in one moment in time, and says to God the Father, it's finished. I've accomplished the task. He is not dying a victim, he's dying a victor. You shall call his name Jesus because he will save his people from their sins. He just did. His next words are, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Look at the Father came back. Father, not my God, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Jesus doesn't need to be alive in this world anymore. He's accomplished the task. The incarnation is finished. He is now returning to the Father. Into your hands I commit my spirit. All this happening in the darkness. Nobody sees it. We get to see it because we know the truth in hindsight. But on that day, nobody's getting it. Nobody's fully understanding. That in Jesus' death, in those 3 hours in darkness, he accomplishes and fulfills Genesis 3:15. I will put hatred between you and the woman, between her seed and your seed, and he is going to crush your head, and you will bruise his heel. At that very moment, the curtain in the temple was torn in two, top to bottom. The curtain that divided the Holy of Holies, where nobody could go back there except the high priest once a year, it's now shattered. There no longer needs to be a barrier between God and his people because sin has been atoned for. Jesus has accomplished it. Just this very act that the curtain of the temple tears means that the Old Testament Judaism is gone and something new now is happening. The earth shook, the rock split. We understand in history, if you read other historical documents of this time, that the altar actually cracked in half and that the Jewish people never, ever, ever offered an animal sacrifice after the crucifixion of Jesus. They didn't, they couldn't. And by 70 AD, the temple was destroyed. Listen, if that's not enough, listen. Tombs broke open and bodies of many holy people who had died were raised to life. Somebody explain this, right? No wonder everyone after Jesus died, even a Roman centurion, says, surely this was the Son of God. And everybody goes home beating their breasts. Something's wrong. Something happened differently than what we expected. Jesus dies not as a criminal deserving punishment, but as some type of victor accomplishing a task that rends the curtain of the temple, breaks the altar, and tombs where believers who had died, dead bodies came out of tombs. I mean, Aunt Martha showed up at the door. Heaven and earth are responding to what occurred in Jesus' death. All of creation is responding. The earth's moving, cracking, breaking open. Dead people are coming out of graves, temple curtain tearing, the altar breaking. Man, oh man. No, maybe thousands of people were crucified, but none like this guy. None like this guy. They came out of the tombs, and after Jesus' resurrection, they went into the holy city and appeared to many. How do you work out that one? How do you work out the fact that not only was Jesus dead and rose again, but after he died, other people rose? Even before Jesus' resurrection, people were, how do you explain that away? You remember those guards, those centurion guards that were standing there making sure that the apostles wouldn't steal the body? When the centurion and those with him who were guarding Jesus saw the earthquake and all that happened, they were terrified, and he exclaimed, surely he was the Son of God. A Roman centurion is the only person quoted after Jesus' crucifixion, after his death. A Roman centurion is the only one that watches all of it and says, this was different. What did the sign say above Jesus' head? Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. A Roman centurion, not the religious leaders, not the Sanhedrin, not even the disciples are fully understanding what's going on, but a Roman centurion who's probably crucified hundreds of people watches the experience of all that's going on and says, something different happened today. Surely he was a Son of God. Many women were there watching from a distance. They had followed Jesus from Galilee to care for his needs, and among them were Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's sons. These women who followed Jesus as he traveled through Nazareth and Galilee and all over the place, they stood at a distance watching the crucifixion. because they wanted to find out where Jesus's body, what were they going to do with it? Because it was their responsibility to care for him. And these same women are the ones that are going to show up on Easter morning. But let me leave it with this. This is the gospel. Jesus fulfills all Old Testament prophecies here. He was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The chastisement that was due us fell upon him, and by his wounds we are healed. And I could probably go on for another hour, so I'll stop there and let you know that we're going to hit this again. We're going to hit this again when we study the last week of Jesus' life. But if you ever think that Christianity is about living a holy life, it's not. It's part of it, but it's not. Christianity is finding yourself at the foot of the cross, looking up and realizing that he is doing that for you and for me, so that we might be set free from our sins, that we might have a restored relationship with the Father. And before I get going again, I hope that this devotion was a blessing to you. Have a great day. Make it a firmly rooted day, and may someone see Jesus in us today. Peace.